Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this Around the Ropes YouTube exclusive. Now, you guys know when you listen to our regular show, we talk a lot about the indie scene. And most of the time, we're talking about the New York, New Jersey area. But I figured we've been at this now for 2 years. Figured it's time to expand and go beyond what we normally cover, as we're now being joined by the voice of the faithful, one of the main people at Blitzkrieg Pro, the one, the only Phil McManus. Phil, how you doing tonight?
What is going on, everybody? Around the Ropes podcast. Glad to be here. Super excited to talk, man. I'm glad you're branching out into New England, hitting up in Western Massachusetts, man. I'm telling you right now, with Beyond Wrestling, the Wrestling Open, us at Blitzkrieg, it's one of the best territories in the market right now, man. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, even though I haven't been to a Blitzkrieg show, which hopefully that will change sooner rather than later. I've seen what you guys have done as far as through IWTV, through social media, and the names that you're bringing in. We were talking about the names before we started recording tonight, and my mouth dropped, I think, on basically every one of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've worked with a great number of guys, man. I mean, if you look at our backlogs on IWTV, I mean, we're working with Max Caster, MJF, like before AEW, man, right before they got big. And they're still coming back to hang out and say hi. We at Blitzkrieg are a punk rock pro wrestling group that is all about fun, entertainment, and just having a fucking party, dude. I don't know if you can swear on this.
Yes,
or
you
if you're
can.
gonna beat me. But yeah, we're all about having a good time, man. It's all about the faithful, and nothing about us is a normal promotion, and that's what makes it work. We're a fucking family, man. I don't want to sound like Vin Diesel in a Fast and Furious movie, but it really feels like that. It's when I connect with the audience, they call me the voice of the faithful, is our fans are the Blitzkrieg faithful for a reason. They are always there supporting us no matter where we go.
That's what makes a good promotion, is when you have that loyal fan base, because of the fact, and I see this a lot with the companies that we deal with in New York and New Jersey, because it's independent, and a lot of times you get independent companies who don't run that frequently, who may run maybe once every 3 or 4 months, but to have the same crowd coming back every time, I commend you guys for that big time.
I really appreciate that, man. It all comes down to Leary. Leary is not just a wrestler; he's the heart and soul of Blitzkrieg Pro. And this show coming up, he's put out an open challenge, man. It's his hometown. We're in Westfield. We're in his stomping grounds. It's going to be interesting, man. We got a heck of a card lined up. And if you want to talk about like just who we are, this is the show. If you haven't caught a Blitzkrieg Pro show yet, this is the show to start on. It's not only do we continue with, I'm very proud of like the storylines we continue, but the people we work with. And a lot of them are from your area. A lot of Creative Pro guys, man, like Bobby Orlando, Bryce Donovan, dude, 35 millimeter Magic. VSK was our former champion, held the belt for a year. Logan Black, CPA. Bro, New York is bringing out some of the best talent in the world, and you best believe they're being shown and highlighted up here in Western Massachusetts, not just at Blitzkrieg, but at Beyond, Wrestling Open, Pioneer Valley. I mean, we are a territory that is not just exciting, but we're expanding.
Well, before we get, and I actually have the card up here right now, and again, my mouth has dropped for every match here. But before we get into what's going on next Saturday, I want to get, what got you into pro wrestling? What made you want to become a wrestling fan?
Well, like every fan, I grew up loving the business. One of my earliest memories is going to my grandpa's house when I was, I'd say tops 4 or 5 years old, man. And I remember sitting on his lap and watching WCW main event. And I remember seeing guys like Ric Flair for the first time and being like, whoa, and then like Harley Race. And I became hooked. And then I started watching the WWF, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig. And I started getting into the business itself and seeing just what it took to not just be a wrestler, but like to put on a show of that caliber. And watching athletes like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Eddie Guerrero, after all these years, I still get slack-jawed at some of the stuff they put on, man. Like, it's fan first, always fan first. Any one of us who work in this business, we're here because we love it. It's not the money right away. You never really make that much money right away, man. It's because you love being a part of something. There's nothing quite like pro wrestling.
I totally see that because I'm, especially doing this podcast, I'm starting to know more of and getting to know a lot of these, these guys and girls that are in the ring. I'm seeing the other side of it, and I'm seeing, I've sat there already where I see guys going over a match, and I see, when you're at a show and it's like, okay, you gotta make sure you cut to this angle. It's like, there's so much that goes on that the average fan would sit there and be like, oh, okay, it's wrestling. But now the funny thing is, when I go to a wrestling show now, yes, I'm a fan at first, but then I'll sit there and go, okay, what connected that to that? What's the connection?
The art.
That's the fan I'm at.
Pro wrestling is one of the hardest sports on the planet. It is, you're trusting the other guy with your life on a regular basis. But there's also no other sport and no other type of, it's violent theater. That's what I like to call it, because it's the best forms of entertainment, like a bad guy and a good guy and a story and a fight. But there's no stunt, man. It's live. Like, you're calling it on the fly, or you're playing a little bit ahead of time. We know who's going to win, but it's working. It's putting on a show. It's getting the audience involved. It's knowing the spots. There's so much that goes into it that it's one of the most intricate and pure art forms. And honestly, I don't think it's appreciated enough. I mean, you look at these Hollywood movies and these fight scenes like John Wick, and you watch them and you're like, holy fuck, man. Like they did this in 10 takes, and they got this amazing shot where, dude, you watch a Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega match, and they're doing that shit right fucking there. And in being able to sit there and watch it live and get a connection with like the fans as it's happening and seeing it, it's special, man. Like it's one of the coolest things in the world to be a part of.
Oh, I completely agree. And that's one thing like I like is when they can, I'm very big, and this is one thing I preach on the show weekly, good storytelling.
Absolutely.
And to me, if I'm a fan and I'm going, to Dynasty or to Blitzkrieg, and I'm putting the time into travel, there's got to be a reason for it. It's not that I'm just going, not because, yes, granted, I enjoy the sport, I enjoy being there. Granted, you're never going to see me walk into a wrestling ring because I'll be the first person to trip going into a wrestling ring. But when, when people, are just, that's what but then on the flip side, the type of matches that drive me nuts as a fan, and this is going to get me some heat. I've said this before on this show. A lot of matches with the Young Bucks.
Okay, fair.
And I say that, and the match I go back to, this specific match I go back to, Young Bucks, Lucha Brothers at Full Gear. I think it was when they were in Jersey.
The cage match?
No, it wasn't the cage match. It was the Full Gear when they were in Jersey. Was it last year? I think it was.
Okay.
There's the one spot where all four of them are in the ring and they're doing the super kicks.
Oh, yeah.
And you can easily see that, okay, this person has to hit this guy, then this guy has to hit. It's like, that's when wrestling to me becomes too choreographed.
So when you notice the spot and it becomes too much, you don't like it.
Yeah, that to me, but like
it sucks you out of it in a way.
But like to me, I can see, the Daniel Bryan match, especially when he had his storyline with the Authority. I can watch that whole storyline hundreds of times.
Okay, because so it's more I know what you're saying with that, and I agree with you on a lot of those aspects, actually. I'm not big on AEW spot type wrestling and too many spot fests, like where you can see the guys are planning and just waiting for that oh shit moment, and it happens like 16 times a match. I'd rather have a well put together match with 5 or 6 moments like that came from a storyline that I cared about, that invested me, not just like, oh man, this looks awesome, but invested me mentally where I'm like, oh man, it's finally happening. And I get to see that. I don't want to see matches just thrown together. And that's where the indies gets hard, man, is because we don't really have a TV show. We don't really have like weekly interviews, but what we like to do with Blitzkrieg especially, and with some of the promotions I've seen up here, is we know our fans are invested. So we'll keep things on our social medias. We'll continue storylines through the next shows. Because, see, we were fortunate enough to put on at least one show a month. Where, like right now, we've had Logan Black, another New York guy, and CPA. They've had an amazing feud over the past 6 shows, I'd say. And now it's leading into a match this week where CPA is going to have a guest. Like, he's going to pick his partner. He's going against 35mm Magic, because at our last show, during Ladder Hell to crown the new champion, where Crawford won the belt, 35mm Magic came out and screwed him over from winning the title and getting his moment. So we're continuing forward with him going after 35mm Magic, and then seeing him maybe run after Crawford eventually, and just getting that thing. It's getting people invested in the characters, noticing it. And that's where someone like Leary comes in, where he doesn't just know these people. He works with them directly, and he's a great mind for wrestling, a really good mind for wrestling. And he puts on great shows, puts out great cards, and we know what our fans want, man. Like, our luau every year is like our WrestleMania. And if you go back and watch any of them, the energy in that room and what we do, I mean, we have a pool toy match every year. I mean, you can't not have fun with that. Like, I mean, it's the energy we put out and the stories that come out of us. Like, we had Eric Rowan there 2 years ago for it. We had Fandango and Summer Rae the year before that. Like, I'm bringing in a lot of good people who I met through things like Dream Mania and like stuff I've done in Florida, where I've made a relationship with some of these bigger talents. And I'm like, hey, let's get these guys up here. Let's get them some sponsors, and let's get them seen, and let's get our product seen. Because at the end of the day, what I want is eyes on these next guys. Like, I'll have someone sponsor someone to bring a bigger name in, just so more eyes can get on someone like TJ Crawford. Because that kid's the future of wrestling, man. To get more eyes on Miracle Generation, more eyes on 35mm Magic, more eyes on guys like Alec Price. Like, there's guys out here, Bryce Donovan, Bobby Orlando. I can literally go on and just, it's Akira. Like, we have Akira in a 4-way. I mean, we'll get to that in a minute. And Sammy Diaz, there's so much talent in the Northeast right now that to bring in a big name like Heath Slater, to get more eyes on people like that, to get in there, they're going to be like, oh, wow, I met Heath Slater. But they're going to be talking about the other matches and being like, oh, dude, you see that guy? And then 2 years later, they can see him on TV and be like, holy shit, I saw him with Blitzkrieg. Like MJF, look at that. We've had MJF a bunch of times. Max Caster, a bunch of times. Like, those guys are on TV weekly now. And those are guys, that's who you catch in the indies now. We're at a very exciting time in wrestling where I feel there's another boom. Because not just there's healthy competition out there, and there's more promotions and companies than ever with eyes on them. That feels like in the past 15 years, but like, people are wanting to get out after COVID. People are wanting something to do. And to be able to spend $10, $20 and go see an amazing wrestling show, see some of the guys you saw on TV, make some new favorites, and say, hey, I've been there since day one for some of these guys. That's exciting stuff.
No, I completely agree. And you brought up the whole thing about, the how much it would cost for a ticket. That's the other thing I will preach on the show weekly is you can go to, because a lot of the shows I go to, not only are in upstate New York, but they're down in Jersey.
Yep.
At the lovely building called the Mecca.
Yep.
And you can spend $20, $25, whatever, even 30 for some promotions.
Yep.
But not only are you seeing great action, but you get to meet a lot of these guys. And that's the biggest thing that I push for. And a lot of times, like, I'll go to shows now, and if it's a company I've been going to for a while, a lot of them will either look for me in the crowd, or I've had some guys ready who are like supposed to be the tough heels who will break character and look at me and go, oh, hey, what's up?
Absolutely, man. It's without you guys, we're nothing. You are literally the determination if we're successful. The fans are everything. It's two guys can go in there and put on a match in an empty room, and we get to see that in COVID. It's exciting. But when you take that audience away, no matter how big or how small it is, it feels like something's missing. So when you're going to a show and we see you guys having a good time, we see you chanting, we get the holy shit chants. I get to raise that mic and say the following match is scheduled for and throw it in the air. and hear everyone yell, "One fall!" Like, we want you to be that excited to be there, because honestly, it's the best feeling in the world to just be a part of something that you're going to talk about and that we love ourselves. Like, I mean, we watch from the back. We watch all the matches, dude. Like, I'm fortunate enough where, like, I'm front and center and I get to sit there and watch them all right then and there, man. I've seen some amazing things, dude. I just saw the Grizzled Young Veterans and Miracle Generation, the last show I did. From me to my TV away, man. Like, and I got to watch them put on a clinic, and I got to watch the Grizzled Young Veterans tell Miracle Generation, no bullshit, that they're the future of wrestling. And again, I've said these guys' names already like 6 times. I'm a mark for them, and I know them. They're the next Young Bucks. These guys are one of the best tag teams. They made number 55, I think, in the PWI Top 100 tag teams. They've only been doing it for 2 years.
No, I've seen both of them in action before, Dustin Waller and Kylon King.
Yep.
I've seen them plenty of times. No, actually, I have seen them together for some of the companies down here in Jersey.
Yep.
But it's stuff like that. There's a lot of names that you mentioned. We're going to go through some of them here in a second to go over this card. Which, by the way, folks, if you can get the opportunity to go to the show, I would highly recommend it. Just off the names here, and the first match I want to look at, because I'm literally just going through the match graphics here.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Cruel versus Heath.
That's something that you will never really expect to see anywhere, man. This is our first time working with Cruel. Again, Leary, we were at the Wrestling Open show we did, where it was the 4-day festival. I'm forgetting the name right now. Pardon me, man. Yeah. It's a long day. But for New Year's, and he watched him. And he's like, we got to have this guy come in. And he's like, we're getting Heath for the next show. And then all of a sudden I see the match traffic and I'm like, oh, wow, this is going to be interesting. Like, that is 2 styles clashing that's going to put on a hell of a fucking fun show.
And what's funny to think about it is, yeah, Heath has been in it for a while. But somebody like Cruel, who's done a lot of time with MLW, I know.
Yep.
This is kind of his moment to kind of sit there and go, okay, a lot of people may not know who I am, but if he can somehow get a victory here, it's like, okay, he just defeated a former WWE, one half of a former WWE Tag Team Champion.
Not just that, man. It's no matter what, with IWTV running live, and if you can't be there for the show, we're going to be live on IWTV. You can always catch us there, man. He's going to hit a whole new crowd with the Blitzkrieg audience. They've never seen it yet. And once they have that, they're going to start talking about it. I mean, word of mouth goes, man. And I guarantee you'll be back. Like, he's going to be back for at least 2 or 3 more. I mean, I could see him maybe going for a belt with us, dude.
Well, the thing with somebody like Cruel, and this is the other thing also, is he has that it factor.
Absolutely.
Whatever that it factor is, he has it.
He walks in a room and you notice him. You can't help it.
Well, he walks in a room and you sit there, you go, okay, don't piss him off because he will kill you.
Dude, yeah, like little kids kind of hiding, like, ooh, that dude. That's why I love wrestling, man. It is being able to watch someone craft a character that's themselves dialed to fucking 11. But with someone like Cruel, it's I don't know what the fuck he tapped into to start that gimmick and make that character, but my fucking God, like, he's killing it. He's killing it. And it's very hard to have a gimmick like that. There's not that many successful ones as there are so many flash in the pan ones. And I mean, he's doing it so fucking well that he's made a name just on the indies alone. He's someone they're going to look at eventually, man. You look at guys like Undertaker, Kane, fucking like George the Animal Steel, like King Kong fucking Bundy, Andre the Giant, attractions. Attraction.
And it's funny. You mentioned, guys like Taker and Kane, especially with somebody like Taker, especially towards the end of Taker's run, where he wasn't a bad guy, he wasn't a good guy, he was Undertaker.
He was supernatural. He was just the Taker. And that's what Cruel is. He's cruel.
That's what it's,
yeah. Absolutely, man.
I can never see Cruel being a good guy. but I can also never see him being a bad guy because I think fans love him.
Yeah. Oh, it's the Austin factor, man. The anti-hero. You can't boo him. You cheer him. You boo. There's just something about him, and when you get guys like that in professional wrestling, it's something special. And Cruel is something special, and I can't wait to see what he does for us, man. I'm super excited to have a front row seat for it, and just see what happens, man. Be part of the fucking fun.
Just make sure whatever you do, you don't piss him up because, like I said, he could do body damage.
Oh, dude, I'm good. I'm good with this Cruel off, dude. Believe me.
All right, I want to keep things moving here because we also got some women's action happening.
Yes, we do.
Allie Katch takes on Haley Dillon. If I mispronounced her last name, I apologize.
Haley Dillon. Nope, she's amazing, dude. From Buffalo, New York. Another person from New York we work with. She's phenomenal, dude. She puts on a great match every time she works in the ring with us. I mean, I'd say, honestly, the past 9 shows, she's been a staple. And I don't remember Allie being with us since Vermont, I believe, was the last show I did with her. And she's always fucking amazing to work with, dude. Like, we've had her with Bussy, with Effie. We've had her just come as herself, man. Allie's special. She's another one of the special talents in wrestling. The shit she does in GCW. The shit she does all over the indies, man. She's another one with that it factor. She is just a phenomenal worker.
And it's funny because I'm surprised with somebody like her. We always talk about, especially in the North, and you said it before, how much talent there's in the Northeast. Mm-hmm. There's also so many people who are in the Northeast who aren't signed yet, and it stuns.
It's mind-boggling, dude. Yeah, but we're at that point. I'm telling you right now, man. That boom's gonna happen again. We're 2 years from now. You may have me on here, and we're looking at we're looking at these guys having belts on main TV, working NXT, working NWA, TNA, AEW, WWE. There's so many opportunities, and there's so many talented people right now that any of these people could be the next big thing.
Well, the next match I want to get to, I think personally, just because I've seen both these guys in action numerous amount of times, I think could be the match of the night. And that's TJ Crawford versus Marcus Mathers.
I'm telling you right now, dude, TJ Crawford is I don't want to I'll break kayfabe. Fuck it. It's when I was in the ring before Ladder Hell, and we knew we were putting the belt on TJ. Before I even introduced him, man, I remember just looking at him and being like, dude, you deserve this. You deserve this so fucking much. Like, it's like you're amazing. I'm so happy for you right now. And our champion was Uptown Andy Brown. And he got injured, just had his surgery, so we had to put a title on the line somehow. And we gave it to TJ. And this will be his first defense, man. And he said he wants an open fucking challenge. Someone new who's never been to Blitzkrieg. And again, now we have someone coming in that not just I'm excited about, but other people are going to get to see for the first time. And they're going to put on a fucking clinic.
Those two, because like I said, I've seen Crawford plenty of times out here on Long Island. I've seen Mathers a couple of times in Jersey. And alone, the two of them, doesn't matter who they're in the ring with. You put them together.
Yeah, they can just work with anyone, dude. And that's the beauty of Crawford too, is he just keeps getting better. Like it's scary how smooth of a worker he is and how good all of his stuff looks. There's someone who doesn't just have a gimmick, he lives it. And you can see how good he is at what he does, but also just how much he loves what he does too. And that's what makes a great wrestler, is you can watch them and know that they're having an amazing time doing what they love, but they're also so fucking good at it.
Well, I'll give you, with Crawford, two of his past rivalries that come to mind was he had a rivalry with Casey Catal back in the company called Synergy. Yep. Which, if you know the backstory of that one, you know how that ended. I love those two when they were together. And then actually recently on here on Long Island, he recently feuded with Bear Bronson, one half of the Iron Savages.
Yep.
And they had a match last May, which was a Ravens Flock match. I know Raven was involved in the match somehow. And the moves in this match, I'm just sitting there going, they're going to kill each other. But
it's wild, man. It's the amount of trust and the amount of skill that these guys have working together, man. It's like I said before, it's like watching a live John Wick movie, man, with some of these guys. And you don't get a second take.
No.
It's all right there happening in front of you at live time. And that, again, is why I love professional wrestling, because it's a beautiful mix of, like, not just the good guy versus the bad guys, the anti-heroes. It's, if you look at what's happening in WWE right now with the Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and The Rock stuff, dude, people weren't going to appreciate what Roman's done in the past 3 years, having that belt on lock like he has, until it was coming to an end. The WWE right now, in my opinion, is coming to the end game of the MCU. And we're finally going to see the Thanos type battle at WrestleMania this year. And it being WrestleMania 40, that's huge. It's one of those things where, like, that's 3 years of storytelling, 2 years of Cody, like, going after it. It's fucking beautiful, man. And when you have that happen, you can't help but be a fan and watch. And right now, we're at such a time. It's like the end of the McMahon era and the beginning of the TKO era. And it's bringing out whole more opportunities for a bunch of other guys. And, like, it's WrestleMania is special, and not just for WrestleMania, but for all the shows that happen around it that weekend too. For all the events that get our local guys out there to show you the guys who are going to be on that fucking WrestleMania card in 2 years. And you get to see that for $20, well, like, the day before you go see WrestleMania. It's professional wrestling is, it's back. I mean, for me, it never left. For you, it never left. But I mean, I want to see the days where I was in high school, man, and getting suspended for telling my fucking teacher to suck it. I mean, that shit's coming back, man. Like, it's full force. Let's bring it back to what it was, dude. Like, I for one, am ready for the wrestling resurgence.
Okay. Well, like, I left with me, and then we'll get back into this card here for a second. Where I work now, a lot of people will come up to me, and mind you, they're not avid fans.
Mm-hmm.
They'll turn around and be like, "Oh, did you see what?" But they'll always show me, like, "Oh, did you see what happened on Monday Night Raw?" And I look at them, I go, "Did I see what happened on Monday Night Raw?" You're talking to me.
Yep.
It's
absolutely,
like,
man.
But then I'll sit there and people will look at me and go, "Oh, how can you be a wrestling fan?" I'm like, because A, it kind of gets me away from what's going on.
Absolutely, man.
And also, there's no off season.
Nope. Never. Always on, man. And you said something good there, man. Like, well, one thing I'll agree with you. I don't mean to cut you off, but it's very true. I've seen a meme or a post about it recently, like, that your indie show could be someone's life-saving event. Because if we're getting someone out of a funk for 2 hours, man, there's so much going on in the world that's bad right now, man. Like, I mean, we got inflation, we have wars, we have, like, it's hard to live. If we can cut someone out of that mindset for fucking 20, 30 minutes, 3 hours, dude, just to get them happy and cheering, and, like, that's magic, man. And when you can be a part of that, that's just special.
Like, I left, and I'll, then we'll get back into this card here in a second. One of the big things I just went through recently, and I said it before on the show, I've recently lost a significant amount of weight.
Good for you, man.
Thank you.
Good to lose weight?
I lost 70 pounds.
Oh, wow. Good for you, dude. That's awesome.
I'm going to be straightforward right now. I started out, I was 338.
Yep.
And I had no support, nothing, I was going down a bad path. But because of not even just pro wrestling, the fans of indie wrestling who have become close friends of mine, who basically every time they see me now will look at me and go, they'll say the simple thing of, "We're proud of you."
Amen, man. Words of affirmation, dude, they mean a lot. They really do. And it's once you're part of the family, you're in the family. It's wrestling fans are family. Wrestling fans can be some of the most toxic motherfuckers on the planet, some of them, but we're also a big fucking family, man. Like,
oh no, believe me, I'll be the first one. I've said it on the show. I always look at it this way. There's two groups when it comes to the IWC. There's one half of the IWC that are the toxic. They try to complain about every little thing imaginable. But then on the other hand, there's the other half of the IWC who are going to sit there and will go to wrestling shows, support indie wrestling, who will watch our show live, will go to Blitzkrieg Pro, who aren't going to sit there and be like, "Oh, well, why did this happen?" They're there for the moment. They want to enjoy it. But
amen, brother.
Speak about enjoying. Let's get to this fatal 4-way.
I'll let you rattle it off, man. Rattle it off because the names just keep getting better every time you say it.
Aaron Rourke, Ichiban, Sammy Diaz, and Akira.
Number one contender match, man.
I said it with the Marcus Mathers match about being match of the night. Is this card? You tell me if I'm wrong here. Is this card basically being set up where it's okay? You guys go first. Okay, you guys try to top us here. Okay, you guys try to top us here. You guys try to top us here.
It looks that way, right? It's just that's what we like to do. We like to put on the best card we could possibly put on. And again, props out, Leary. Love you, man. In with the out crowd, not just a great wrestler, a great wrestling mind. And I mean, any of those guys one-on-one is going to be a fucking clinic. But you put Aaron Rourke, Ichiban in the ring, that's going to be a fucking classic match. You add Akira to it, it's like what? Then you throw in Sammy Diaz, one of the best workers and most underrated performers in the business. Not just the indies, the business. Top 5 dead or alive Sammy Diaz. That man is all work. He is incredible in the ring. He's so smooth. Him and Rourke and Akira, the motherfucking death fighter, dude. Come on, man. You had Ichiban. Dude, this is going to be a high-flying, technical, fucking brawling. It's going to have everything you could want out of a fatal 4-way, and I can't wait to see what happens, man.
Oh, I completely agree. You got 4 guys who know what it takes to put on a match.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you said it before. Any of these guys by themselves can put on a classic by themselves. You put all 4 of them in the ring, yeah, good luck to whoever has to follow this match.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's banger after banger after banger after banger. That's what we want to do, and that's what this card is turning out to be. I mean, I'm so proud to be a part of this card, and I really can't wait for next Saturday, man. It's going to be a hell of a show. And again, being the constant person to remind you guys at home, you can find us all over social media with Blitzkrieg Pro. You can find me as well at Voice of the Faithful 420. And you can watch the show on IWTV no matter where you are. And we are wanting those big numbers. Be there. Watch this show. It's going to be phenomenal, guys.
We got it. And we'll definitely get into everything else in a second. We got 2 more. Well, we also got the Open Challenge, the Leary Open Challenge happening.
With Hometown Boy, dude. Hometown Boy's calling anybody out who wants to fight him in his hometown, man. That's going to be a brawl.
And then I want to get to the last 2, which are tag team matches, because the biggest thing I'm a proponent of, not only good storytelling, but I'm also a proponent of tag team wrestling. Some of my favorite matches are tag team matches. Great example, the Briscoes FTR, the Dog Collar match.
Yeah, that was beautiful. That was such a good trilogy.
Or, I mean, just go down the list of the tag teams. But let's start off with Miracle Generation. Is they're taking on the Batiri?
They're the former Blitzkrieg Pro Tag Team Champions from before as well, making their comeback. This is going to be a hard-hitting fight, man. Anytime you put 2 teams like that in there, a former champion with the champions, you're going to have an all-out war on your hand. And Miracle Generation, they go to steal the show every time. It's just who they are.
And, Miracle Generation, you said it before, they're the future. I could see them within the next probably 5 years. And 5 years maybe being too generous.
Yeah.
On regular TV.
Absolutely, dude. I think their trajectory right now reminds me a lot of the Young Bucks. Like, where they started on the indie scene, Generation Me and TNA. Like, I mean, then they went over to Japan and just made a name for themselves. They're already doing that without even hitting a major circuit yet. So just imagine, dude, like you said, 5 years, which I agree with you, is generous. Fuck, I want to see where they're at next year, the 2 years. Like, it's sky's the limit with those guys. Sky's the fucking limit.
I completely agree. And then the last one we got here is 35mm Magic taking on CPA and a mystery opponent.
Exactly, man. We don't know who CPA is going to. I can't say anything. I don't know. I have no idea who he's going to pick. There's so many people that love CPA and would love to help CPA. And just on our own roster alone of our amazing guys and our girls even, he could pick. It's who's he going to pick? He wants revenge for what happened at the last pay-per-view. He feels slighted. 35mm Magic cost him a chance at the Blitzkrieg Bedlam Championship, and he's looking for a little bit of revenge.
And the best part about it is you never, and especially not only that, with whoever he picks, it may not be somebody, and you said it before, it may not be somebody even on the roster.
Amen, dude. You never know what's going to happen. That's the beauty of a mystery opponent. You're going in there. You already know who you're guaranteed to see, and you're going to pull out a mystery tag partner as well. And looking at our roster, looking at the way we run deep, it could be anyone.
But not only that, with how many, with all these guys now becoming free agents who were in WWE and AEW,
you never know who's going to show up, man. Let's just say that.
I mean, it could be John Cena, but the problem is you wouldn't see him anyways.
Nah, we have the miss. Well, I mean, I got one person who it could be. I got the Bell Girl here. Come on in. Come say hi. No, go this way, bud. Go this way. The Bell Girl of Blitzkrieg Pro. My daughter Fiona, she just popped in to say hi real quick.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
So she got into the business at a young age of 10, and she's now 11, and she'll be there this Saturday ringing that bell for us, right, bud? You got it. All right, go to bed now. You can have a snack.
But last question I got for you before we wrap up.
Absolutely, man.
If you have somebody who's never been to a Blitzkrieg Pro show,
okay,
what would you say? Obviously, I know you're the voice of it, but what would you tell somebody who's never been to a Blitzkrieg show about why they should go to a Blitzkrieg show?
Because you're not just going to go to a show to see wrestling. You're going to go to a show to see wrestling done different. You're going to see a family aspect to it like you wouldn't believe. You remember going to punk shows as a kid? Remember going to rock shows at your friend's basement? Remember having that energy of a live concert, people singing around together? Remember having all that? Yeah, you're going to have that at a show, but it's going to be a wrestling event at the same time too. We are punk rock pro wrestling. We put on a banger after banger after banger. But the most important, we have you guys. You are the Blitzkrieg faithful.
We have fun.
We have, well, my daughter just said it, we have fun. That's what it's all about, man. It's about understanding like why we're all here. And I mean, it's a beautiful thing. We're going to pull all of you together with our love of wrestling. And if you've never been to a wrestling show and if you've never seen live wrestling before, by the end of it, you're going to be watching weekly, man. I mean, I put money on it. If you can't not come to a show, see what these ladies and these gentlemen do, and then not walk away and be like, how the fuck did they do that? And I want to know more. You're going to want more. You're going to come back. And that's where I'm going to come in. I'm going to try and pull you right back in there, man. Get you involved. Get you chanting. I'm not going to wear a suit. I'm never going to wear a suit. I'm never going to wear a fucking tie. It's not me. I'm 6 foot, covered in tattoos, 43 to be exact, from bands, comic books. I am just like all of you. That's why I'm different. I'm standing in that ring, not just as the announcer and the voice of the faithful. I'm standing there as a fan. I'm standing there as someone who gets to watch this every time I'm in that ring. I'm standing there as someone who wants to just feel you be as excited as I am to be in there. So when you guys want to chant, I want to lead you in it. I want to hear you motherfuckers being loud as you possibly can. That's my job. And it's the most fun job on the fucking planet. And I want y'all to have fun with me. And at a Blitzkrieg Pro show, you're going to have fun.
Well, like I said before, Phil, it was blast having you on tonight. I definitely will try to make it somehow, some way, get up to a Blitzkrieg show.
Absolutely, man. We'll love to have you, dude. I'd love to have you come and put a man. Dude, like I said, let's get your show out there. The Around the Ropes podcast presents, and we'll throw you on a match graphic, man. I want to see you up here. I want to see you get some interviews with some of these guys. Throw them on your fucking podcast. Get a few shout outs, dude. We get the We Are Wrestling podcast, those guys. We get the Run-In podcast. We got those guys. There's a lot of great wrestling podcasts out there. And I mean, we can just add you to the collection, man. I mean, I've had a great time today. You're knowledgeable. You're fun. You're a great host. Let's do this again sometime, man.
And what I was also going to say is the door's open not only just for you, but for anybody else from Blitzkrieg.
Absolutely, brother.
Come on, we definitely would love to. We'll talk more about that afterwards. But Phil, before we let you go, where can fans find tickets for the show? Where can fans connect with Blitzkrieg?
BlitzkriegPro.net. You can also find us on all your social medias with Blitzkrieg Pro on Facebook. You can go on X, Twitter, look for Blitzkrieg Pro. You can find myself under the Voice of the Faithful 420. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Come and find us, man. BlitzkriegPro.net, YouTube, IWTV. go back and watch some of these matches, man. Do yourself a favor. Subscribe to IWTV. Look at our back catalog and just pick a couple shows and watch and just see why we are the difference in pro wrestling.
Well, again, Phil, thank you so much for hopping on with us tonight. Guys, like Phil said it before, definitely get up to Blitzkrieg Pro next Saturday, February 24th. You're not going to want to miss it. We just went over the card. Guys like Cruel, Heath Slater, or Heath now, sorry, because we can't say Slater because it's WWE. Alley Catch, CPA. And you don't know who else is going to be there. That's the fun of indie wrestling. Guys, I said this, if you listen to our show regularly, I say this regularly. Go support indie wrestling. You don't know when, if you see one of these guys at the show, you don't know if in 2 years from now you're going to see them in WWE or AEW or the NWA or TNA. But guys, go support indie wrestling. And if you want to also hit the subscribe button for us, it costs you nothing. It does wonders for us. And we will catch you guys next time.